Hey everybody, welcome to Connect in Cannabis, brought to you by Wrazel. I'm your host, Brian Holler. I hope you guys are all doing well. Our guest today is Cara Raffele, VP Marketing for Manifest 7, former co-founder of MyJane. We look forward to talking to her about her journey, how she's overcome some hurdles, and now what she's doing as part of Manifest 7 and MyJane. But first, we'd like to hear a word about our sponsor. The Wicked Roots mission is to unlock the healing power of cannabis and create trusted, safe, and highly effective wellness products. They firmly believe that cannabinoids and terpenes found in cannabis and hemp have the potential to positively impact millions of lives, and their team is dedicated to making this a reality. Utilizing proprietary DNA, the Wicked Root offers a brand of pharmaceutical-grade CBD products people can rely on. The Wicked Root team utilizes a full-spectrum CBD base infused with select terpenes to create optimal, science-backed formulas that are consistent and deliver targeted effects. To learn more about the Wicked Root, visit thewickedroot.com, or for more on their current investment opportunity, find Wicked Root in the Wrazel investment marketplace at wrazel.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. I am here with Cara. Cara, how are you today?
I am very well, Brian. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on Connect in Cannabis today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for including me.
So let's start at the beginning. You've been in the cannabis business for how many years now?
It is about going on 3 years. So
Okay.
I'm rather newbie into the industry, and I thank everyone who came before me for paving the way.
As do I. How did you get? I guess maybe what a better way to start is what sparked your interest? What got you interested in the field in general?
Well, my story probably is not unique in how I came to cannabis. My husband and I, then my boyfriend, came down with a debilitating autoimmune disorder. And we were going from doctor to doctor, trying to find a diagnosis, trying to find relief from pain and other symptoms he was having. And a doctor at UCLA mentioned that he should check out cannabis. She was not, of course, willing or able to give a prescription,
Right.
but simply having that confidence that there were people researching this to be able to help people around the world gave me and my family the opportunity to find some healthcare outcomes that were positive. But I didn't know a lot about them, and I figured that other women like me, Gen X, baby boomers, also didn't know the full aspect of the plant and what it could do.
And so you dug into it, did it? How much did it help your husband, or well, your then boyfriend, now husband?
Yes, thank you. He is doing wonderful with it. Certainly having the fantastic doctors at not only UCLA, but the Mayo Clinic, that in conjunction with more the homeopathic as well as some of the plant-based medicine has made all the difference.
And so how did that lead into you helping to co-found MyJane?
Yes, so there was one step in between. Prior to that, I was in the marketing and communications and business development agency world, and had a longstanding consultancy and freelance program. And one of my industry colleagues actually had jumped into the cannabis industry, and she called me and wanted to know if I could help with branding of a product and as well as her dispensary. And
Sure.
my background, is all in brand marketing and brand management. So it really was a great opportunity to see how the industry was evolving, to understand how it got to this point. So I fell in love with the industry and what it could do, and most importantly, the people and what they were doing. So I took that. I was able to reconnect with some other industry colleagues who I'd worked before in the tech industry, and that was the inception of MyJane. And we really wanted to be able to just speak to the lived experiences of women and help them normalize cannabis and demystify the plant. So whether or not they chose to incorporate cannabis into their wellness or their families, women are the greatest source of information in communities, at workplaces, or families. And we just wanted to be a source of pure information and access to safe products.
It's definitely a common theme that I uncover when talking to folks. In our case, and you're in my case, we actually have a similar background that kind of got us into cannabis, as we've discussed before, being marketing, business development,
And
branding, sales.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was looking for too. I had worked in, my own, and then in high level agencies, and and then I saw Razzle and was like, I got to
Yes.
go. I got to take my opportunity. This is it, and thankfully here I am.
And it's all
I'm
about
helping.
storytelling was what it came down to. You and I had a great chat about being in being deeply steeped in a journalism tradition of wanting to find the truth and
Yeah,
wanting to be the storytellers. So that's really, and that's the power of every cannabis brand is that storytelling.
it is indeed, and I think in your case specifically, my Jane's as well, being a female brand in a male dominated space, um, must have come with some challenges. Sure, you probably had a lot of interest, at least I know that you did, from from females especially really engaged with you, but I would guess that behind the scenes there might have been a few hurdles that you guys had to kind of conquer.
Absolutely. And I know many studies have been done about the potential and the opportunities for women in the cannabis industry,
Yep.
and their stories are well documented. I came out of the tech world, so women being able to ascend to leadership positions was always a topic of discussion,
Yep.
and great movements were starting to be done. But I think the biggest hurdle at our stage was something that plagues most female entrepreneurs, and it was access to capital and being able to prove that a viable way forward in the cannabis industry and really any lifestyle space is to focus on women and build a women's channel. And that was some of the pushback, which still surprised me in 2018. And when I hear it today, can you really build a company just targeting women? And we'd laugh and say, thank you, you're not a right partner for us
Yeah, wow.
because of that.
And you
And
only
that
make up over half the population, so if I
half
could.
the population, 80% of health and wellness decisions, uh,
Yes.
consumer buying decisions,
Yep.
there's no reason not to.
So you
And
actually heard that from someone.
then,
You actually heard that from people.
yeah,
You really said like, oh, how do you expect to target only women and be successful? Literally, they said that to you.
yes, what is the customer lifetime value? What would be the market potential? Oh, it might just be a fad. Are you
Right.
sure you don't want to make your packaging less feminine because they viewed, I think where it came from is the femininity was viewed as a weakness potentially, when in fact it really was a strength. Even the brand colors of my Jane are this beautiful hue of blush and a
Yeah.
darker purple
Right.
and a pink and white. And those were all colors really unique to a female experience to show that femininity is both strong as well as soft. And the white is, to represent the suffragette movement and many other political movements. And I think it's really telling because, this is the 100th anniversary of women's right to vote too.
Yep.
So a good time.
Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of that is kind of old thinking, old paradigms. You know, at Rousel, obviously, as you know, we are talking with investors and people looking for capital all the time. Um, we like opportunities, and we like good opportunities, and we don't care who the owner is, as long as it's a good opportunity. We're going to go ahead and move forward and work as best as we can with them. We don't really take into consideration things like race or gender, and certainly not that they would be a hindrance to somebody. If anything, I would always spin that into a super positive, because if there's less of you, that means you're more unique. And if you're more unique, then there's probably a little more interest that way, so long as you have a good product. And and why isn't that what people are talking about with you? Why aren't they
Yeah,
drilling into your product rather than worrying about the PR or what it looks like, right?
yeah.
Shouldn't I'm an investor, if I'm savvy, um, should I care that you're a woman, or should I care that you have a good product?
And fortunately, those comments were few and far between. But I gotta tell you, they did take me back, even coming out of tech.
I'm sure.
They did take me back. So, our concept really was to be able to partner with a larger organization so that we could grow and scale. And M7 was one of the opportunities. And one of the biggest reasons we chose M7 and the partnership worked really well is because M7, leads with that kind of philosophy you just talked about. It's the best ideas come from diversity because we all challenge one another. It forces us to look at problems through a different set of eyes.
Yep.
And that makes everything, teamwork better, the product better, financials better, and being able to have that kind of like collaboration where, you're not counting numbers of who's in charge and whether there are gender or diversity. It's really the idea of coming together. And there's so many positions at Manifest 7 of women in leadership, such as most of Whedon, our retail presence, for example.
Yep.
There are companies that get it, and those should be rewarded.
Ojai Energetics has the most advanced water-soluble CBD on the market. Its fast-acting, most viable products are made without synthetics. Most users feel the benefits with proper dosage in under 30 seconds, not 30 minutes like a regular CBD rich oil. Their products are created using organic ingredients and regenerative farming practices benefiting both people and the planet. Ojai Energetics provides CBD users with a dependable bridge to optimal living, promoting everyday health and well-being. To see their products, visit ojienergetics.com. And to learn more about their current investment opportunity, visit their profile in the Wrazel investment marketplace at wrazel.com. Obviously, you're going through the process of trying to find capital in various ways. Along comes Manifest 7. How'd that go?
It was successful, as you can tell.
Obviously, yes.
There's, as I said, there really needed to be missional alignment as well as the right funding partner and to be able to scale. I think a lot of times that, and I still debate whether this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy or if this is more societal norms, but a lot of women entrepreneurs think that they can have, or they only can have, or only will be achievable of a small business. And fortunately, we were surrounded by talent that saw concepts like ours to be on a national, state scale, national scale, even international scale in the future. So that was really the two drivers that made our concept possible and scalable.
Well, there you go. And that makes, a lot of sense. It's, I think a good formula is, like you were saying, multiple perspectives, but one shared vision, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
Lots of different perspectives, lots of different experiences, one shared vision, shared goals, and if you have that, I think you're looking good at it as an investor, from an investor's perspective. Sure, your numbers got to be right, or at least in a way that can be, scaled, or that, that shows some growth or potential for growth, but ultimately the magic dust, if you ask me, is that combination you're alluding to, which is multiple perspectives of different experience levels under one roof, all sharing in a vision, kind of working together for that, and not worrying about, what it looks like,
Right.
dictating what it looks like.
And success markers for any company, any organization, but it's really a success marker for communities, for families, for any organization, is to be able to have independent perspectives and an independent view, but be able to move as one united group.
That agreed, and so let's get into the next phase. So Manifest 7 comes along, yay, My Jane gets rolled into M7. You're currently now VP marketing. Were you that right away?
No, I stepped out of day-to-day and began working on a consulting project with Manifest 7 team to develop the Whedon brand, which is our retail expression of storefront in Santa Ana and delivery in Northern California, Orange County, and San Diego. So that was a great way of being able to take the focus channel model of women and be able to then dive into how women's products and all products and products that will be designed in the future would be able to be exposed to consumers in a new way. The growth of the industry is going to come from the normalization of the plant, and that's the opportunity to again educate, to reach out to audiences that may have used cannabis in the past or would like to, but we're still worried about stigmas, or just the overall experience of what happens when I walk into a dispensary. Is it going to be something scary? What happens behind that door? And
Yep.
with Whedon, we wanted to shatter that and create a brand experience that really was based on all are welcome.
And you really do. Full disclosure, I've been to Whedon a few times myself, and one thing you definitely get when you walk right in, there's these nice colors. It feels very welcoming. There's, they've taken steps immediately to make sure you feel good in terms of like social distancing and all that stuff. The desk, the person at the welcome desk, always very welcoming. And you have a nice, really a smart routine, right? You go here, check in, boom. If it's busy, they'll hold you a little bit and go in. And you go in and the bud tenders, I hesitate to even call them that because they're more like educators. They're more like people who, really want to get into what you're specifically looking for, as opposed to like, yo, what's the, stoniest stuff I can get, which, hey, that's okay too, if that's what you're looking
Yeah.
for. But
I mean, if that's what
ultimately,
our guest wants, absolutely, that's the
sure.
experience we provide. But Brian, to your point, we tend not to even use some of the nomenclature and terms that
Yes.
would be concerning or confusing to a new consumer.
Yep.
So our bud tenders are guest experience specialists. We
Right.
are a retail store, not a dispensary. And that's not to discredit what came before us. It's to honor that, plus add to it so that more people can be exposed to cannabis if they choose.
Absolutely. It's a common kind of, I won't call it a struggle, but it's something that we at Wrazel, of course, have to take into consideration a lot too, because we're kind of doing this thing where we're bringing new money and, sort of a sense of here's how you button yourself up to prepare for raising capital. But we also respect the culture and we don't want to, we want to honor it. We want to make sure that we're, doing right by all our clients, many of whom have been in the business for a long, long time. And so, that's something that we talk about often, and I'm sure you guys at M7 do as well. Just how do we differentiate yet respect?
And especially through acquisition strategies, how do you
Yes.
retain that core culture and that core mission, the reason you actually acquired the company? Of course, beyond the financials, how do you retain what made it work
Right.
while leveling up to perhaps statewide operational standards or a statewide brand? It really has to be a give and take versus a templated formula
Right.
to be able to, again, get that diversity in there that
Yep.
just brings better companies and better consumer experiences.
Yeah, not to mention all the variables as that a cannabis company or organization would face just with regard to law, regulations in different areas. Maybe this place you can do the X, Y, and Z, but over here you can only do X, Y. So as much as we would love for there to be kind of a more formulaic, easier kind of way to do about it, to go about it, which there could be in the future, which great, but up till now, I mean, it's not that way for one. And then secondly, I think basically what I'm hearing from you too, and please feel free to disagree, but is a more personalized approach is going to always be beneficial, no matter how big you get.
You get it. When we were developing the brand, one of the exercises we did is to look at what Whedon would be as a person, which is a typical brand exercise.
Yep.
We came up with a couple of scenarios that really resonated with us. So we wanted to make sure that this is the experiences being conveyed, no matter whether you're shopping online or walking
Right.
into the store. And it was the idea of, we want to be the best friend who would pick you up in the middle of the night when you were broken down on the side of the road. The one who'll show up first for a party and be the last to leave. That kind of ride or die, I am family, I am part of your tribe,
Yep.
is what we wanted to be able to communicate. And thanks to everyone who is consumer facing, who works in our store, our delivery, our amazing call center, that comes through while
Yep.
still being able to allow each person to be themselves and to kind of display that brand as it means to them.
Yeah, the common North Star is this kind of internal drive and the loyalty and kind of respect, I guess, is a good word for it. It reminds me of, I'm going to butcher this quote, so I think it's from Oprah, and it's something to the effect of, it's not about who will ride in the limo with you, It's who will help you when your car breaks, when the limo breaks down, or when the car breaks down. It's not about like, because if it's going well, shoot, everybody's going to have a good time and everybody's here with you. But when you're facing your real true challenges, who shows up, you know?
I think COVID-19 was able to demonstrate that
Yeah.
for everyone in the cannabis industry. You know, we were able on a very visible scale, because cannabis became essential, to show what we're all about. And I'm really proud to be part of the industry that, despite fears and not knowing where this virus would take us, we're committed to making sure that patients and consumers were able to have safe access to products.
As you should be. And yeah, you did see a lot in terms of, you know, who basically got out there in front of this and, you know, and really, you know, pushed things and continue to grow and, you know, and encourage people and inform people and say, hey, we're still here, we're here for you, et cetera. And then a lot of folks kind of, right? So, you know, I hope everybody out there is taking stock of like who that was versus, you know, who's kind of been out there a little bit more. Gosh, Cara, this has been a great conversation. I could probably talk to you about all this stuff for hours and hours and hours, but, you know, let's get our proper, you know, plugs in and whatnot. Where can they find you and or Manifest 7? Where can our audience find you guys?
Absolutely. Manifest 7, you can find us online at manifest7.com. That is also our handle for social media. And then Whedon is at Whedon Social on all channels. And I'm Cara Raffele, Cararaffele, and most active on LinkedIn and Instagram. But my social media manager, who is absolutely brilliant, is going to teach me TikTok this week. So I might be busting out a challenge.
Good luck with that. I look forward to seeing those TikTok challenges coming up very soon. You know, so that should be fun. And if you are out there, look for that too. And of course, you can find Manifest 7 and many of their associated companies on Wrazel's business directory and or services index. Please go to wrazel.com for any resources you might need, specifically if you're a cannabis company looking to raise capital. We'd love to help you and talk to you. Cara, thank you so much for joining me today. I very much look forward to doing it again soon. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care.